going to do, what your fundraiser is going to be. Have the time to get the raffle tickets and everything and all the information out there and be able to sell before your annual meeting in May.
Listen, last year we actually decided what we were going to do in October.
Right, yeah.
And that's right, but then again, we were gonna have everything ready for that December meeting, and yeah, I mean, so everything just kind of, that's why I'm wondering if we need to move that meeting to January. I mean, how do y'all feel about that? Does that seem like it's gonna work out better?
I think that's going to work better.
We usually have 3 meetings a year. We have the annual meeting, which is this meeting here, and then we have the one in October, and then it was December, but I think changing it to January is going to be better.
And I think holding it in Columbia,
I do
I think
too.
so,
if
too.
we,
I really
if we
do.
can get the Fire Academy for free.
And yeah, I mean, we're not having to pay for anything. We can go there for free, and I think it's a lot better because for most of us, it's either an hour or 2 hours, or I think that it works out a lot better.
Well, plus people from the upper part of the state can get there and back in one day.
Exactly.
And then they don't have that extra expense to stay overnight.
That's
Right.
exactly right, and I think that
So-
they'll be more receptive to
Yeah.
that. The building officials and things like that. So, okay, so we'll move it to January. Do we want to wait and decide on the date in October?
Yeah.
Want to do that? That way, it's a little bit closer, and we can go from there. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move that second meeting to January, and we'll check and see about maybe doing it at the Fire Academy
Right.
because it's just so much closer for everybody.
And Tara, as far as dates go, potential dates, the 13th and the 20th are 2 Fridays. That would be the middle of the month.
Okay.
So that's,
For January. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
that's 2 Fridays.
Friday the 13th.
Oh.
We'll be all right. Don't worry. Famous last words.
We might want to do the 20th.
Okay, so we'll put those 2 dates down just so that we have them. All right, and then the annual conference. We always have it here at North Myrtle Beach because we go along with the BOASC. Does that? I mean, I think right now because of the way that the funding is with a lot of the municipalities, we didn't get a lot of people this time. This meeting usually is a lot bigger.
What was last year?
Yeah, I mean, this is usually the meeting that everybody comes to. I don't know if maybe we should look at later on. I don't know if we should look at a different place or a different time. I mean, I think that it's great because we get the building officials here for this meeting, and I think that that's great because we get their input and their help. But I don't know how you all feel about it. I mean, I know that it's hard for some of you to come this far and everything. I mean, do we want to maybe wait until later on in the year and then look at what our municipalities are doing?
I think what we ought to do is, until we can get ourselves established, more secure, that being with the building officials here and being able to draw on them if we do need them for right now, until we're a little bit more secure that this is still something we need to consider. I mean, I don't know how anybody else feels, but
I agree.
I do too.
because I know these last 2 years, they've been a godsend being just
yeah,
right
yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly. That's my thing, but I don't know how other people feel. That's
Right.
why I was throwing it out there. I mean, I love having them here because we get so much. I mean, Rick from Aiken, he helps us. Bruce helps us. Vaughn helps us, and they're all here at our disposal at one spot.
Right.
So, I mean, I like our annual meetings being here, but I know
think
it's
as we
hard
grow,
for others.
We can kind of consider moving it maybe, but right now I think since we're still
Okay.
fairly young, we might want to consider still keeping it as it is.
All right. And that, we'll look at the dates, I think, in the October meeting, and we'll set everything up for next year's annual meeting at that time, at October as well.
And we can check with BOASC and see
And
if
see
they're
what
still
they've
going to
got.
keep what date they select,
Yeah,
and then we
exactly.
can go from there. And I
Exactly.
can check with Michelle and kind of email y'all and let you know.
Exactly. All right, moving
Tara,
on.
I'm sorry, if
Okay.
I could just make one comment. The building officials that you have that are supporting this organization are supportive.
Yes.
And from that perspective, you may want to talk to them while you're with the group this weekend and ask them, because what I'm hearing is everybody's concerned about participation. And the key thing for you guys to maintain your ICC credentials as a chapter, you have to have a certain number of active members.
Right.
Yes.
And that typically has to help, we use the November meeting or October meeting to be the fund, kind of the fundraiser or the
Right.
membership drive.
Right.
And then this is your annual meeting where decisions are made. I don't know. I don't think it's a far stretch to think if y'all decided to move it to a similar time in May to Columbia, that these gentlemen that are here wouldn't be committed to come up there for the day. That's just something you need to ask them, because I know Rick's committed to the organization.
yeah.
I know Bruce is, and Vaughn as well, and I know we are. So from one standpoint, the folks that you need to be there to help administrate things may still come to Columbia for the day.
See, my whole drawback has always been that with BOASC, they always have different things going on all weekend long. That,
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so being able to be involved there and then driving to Columbia, how
Right.
how would that
Right.
work? That was always my main
Yes.
concern. But another suggestion is always too, is if we decide, say maybe not to have it the same weekend
Right.
that they have
Yeah.
theirs, having an optional weekend in May or May and everything, but having it in Columbia. And I mean, I don't know
Well,
if
that
that's
was
something,
my thought, was maybe if we don't piggyback with them and Columbia seems like a better idea, we wouldn't have it at the same time as the BOASC.
Right.
We would have it either before or after them. That way we can get them to.
Right. Well, what you may want to do is get with your board, and have a separate board meeting and just speak with them and see, from your board, how they feel. They can kind of talk with other members within the organization. Maybe even if it means the board members going back to municipalities where they have members that maybe couldn't have attended for the annual meeting, see what their feedback is, see what
Exactly.
they may have some other suggestions that they can
Okay.
bring back to you. I mean, that you could bring back to us,
Okay. All right. All right, so we'll move on to the old business. Training suggestions. That was something we had left open at the last meeting. I did get in touch with the lady at the state that does records and things of
Retention.
that nature. She said that right now in their budget, they're not able to travel. So she said maybe check back later on in the year with them, which I was thinking of doing that maybe for one of our next meetings, maybe the one in January, seeing if we can get one for that record retention, because hopefully maybe they'll have gotten more funding. But
Well, if it's in
Are
Columbia,
they out of
may be
Columbia?
able to-
Yeah.
Yeah, they're located
well,
in
she
Columbia.
wasn't sure. She was kind of iffy because I even asked her about that, and she goes, right now they're just not letting us do anything.
Not
Um,
even there?
Yeah, I know. It was really odd. But I just said, okay, but very nice, but she said to check back throughout the year. So I figured we'll check back with them, maybe see if in January, maybe they've gotten some funds released and they're able to. So we can go from there. Is there any other training suggestions? John today is going to be doing the plans and building components, reviews and stuff like that, so that we can see better for taking the test for those that haven't taken the permit tech test. But this is also, even the ones that have, this will help you in knowing what's coming through the door and what you're looking at. But is there anything else as far as training goes that you all would like to see?
About flood. I mean, it's
Flood.
gonna be an
I wasn't able to get a hold of the lady. Someone did give me her info. I think it was Robin. You gave it to me. I wasn't able to get a hold of her. I'm going to try again. I didn't forget about that, about the flood.
I know there's always, everybody thinks something different.
Any training
Flood
for
stuff,
property
we got so much
maintenance?
flood.
No, the flood is a good thing.
Yeah, we have so many, somebody thinks one thing, then Maria Cox, we just had actually a meeting with the CRS stuff
Okay.
the other
That
day,
typically is a
and she came
class
from
that,
DNR, Maria Cox.
municipalities that have some type of property maintenance, department.
Right.
Columbia is real big in that, and Charleston.
Do y'all normally have classes during the year for that, property maintenance? You do?
Yeah, but it's not just property maintenance.
No,
okay?
it's,
It includes part of the residential code as well.
Oh, does it?
So it's a little bit more in depth than just the property maintenance
Okay.
code. But of course, just for specific property maintenance, something like that could be done.
Okay.
But the reason we do it in conjunction with a review of the residential code is because that's the only way the state will approve it.
Right, for the inspectors.
Because the property maintenance code is not a mandated code.
Right.
Every jurisdiction can adopt it if they want to or not.
I got
So
you.
therefore, the state
Got you.
doesn't fund
Uh-huh.
what's not called prescriptive.
I got you. I got you.
Are there any other suggestions? Who hasn't taken the test or hasn't passed the test for permit tech? Okay. Did any of y'all take it and not pass it?
I've
Is there
taken it once.
anything on the test that tripped you up?
That's been years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was when it was SBCCI, not ICC, but I did take the ICC once. A lot of it, I know with our area, we aren't exposed to the plans, to that portion of it, and
Okay.
we aren't involved in the zoning aspect of it either, because all we do is, we don't look at any of the blueprints or any of the plans when they come in, so all of that's really foreign and everything. And the zoning is handled out of a totally separate department, so.
Does anybody have trouble with the ladies that took it and that passed? Was there anything that might have tripped you up that you think might be beneficial for other people to see?
Well, in my case, it was similar to what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
but I had taken the England Enterprise, the class that,
The permit tech
if I hadn't
class.
taken that prep class, I wouldn't have passed it, because I don't do anything with really with the, it was stuff about the windows and
Right,
the
right.
measurements, yeah. But if I wasn't able to really study my notes from there, and that's what helped.
Okay. Anybody else? What about, John, do you do a zoning class at
The
all?
zoning is included in the permit tech
That
class
permit
that
tech
we
class,
have,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I've got some dates that I'll go over, or I can tell you what they are now, but I was gonna go over them toward the end of the presentation. But I think the next permit tech class is it is actually gonna be in Greer. We're trying to make sure that's where it's gonna be, but it's actually November 7, 8, and 9. Now, the 7th is the South Carolina Contractor Law class, and I would encourage you to come to that. That is not necessarily, going to help you with your permit tech exam, but it will help you a little bit understand the contractor law and who can do what and who needs a particular permit or, a license to do something. It's a great class. Usually we have a lot of good discussions because people bring up some really bizarre stuff that you see in your department. That's on November 7th. And then November 8th and 9th is the actual permit tech class. And we do go over zoning. The zoning code is very simple, and once you know what the zoning code is laid out to do, then on the test, they can ask you 100 different questions and you'll be able to answer any of them.
Okay, all right.
But it is totally, a lot of times it's a real different situation than what you're used to.
Right.
And in some jurisdictions, you don't even fool with it anyway.
Right.
But you
Now,
gotta
do you
have
have
some
any in
exposure.
Columbia that will be held in Columbia at all?
As far as the permit tech?
Yes.
I think we had that in the spring. We were trying to move it around this year because we have the same situation that you have
Yeah.
with attendance.
Right.
And so we tried to go up to Greer and
And where's
don't
Greer
think,
located? What is it near?
well, Greer is over, actually it's in Greenville County.
Okay, I know
It's
where Greenville
kind of right there near Greenville County.
All right.
It's very, and we usually work with somebody there to get, a phone number and a location for a hotel in the area.
Okay.
Usually it's a Hampton Inn.
Okay.
So we'll know more for sure, but that's tentatively where it's scheduled.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Now, the housing rehab class, which includes the property maintenance